the idea of what success means to you in your profession.
We don't do any work to impress the bosses or to impress the peer group.
We are doing approximately 6,000 or more programs every year to educate investors.
I think there are two very important things. One is, to me, is innovation. So how much can you innovate? How many new things can you do? How much can you learn from it?
Any kind of conversation, anything that we do, even on an Alexa or Google Home, as long as it's personal, as long as it's segmented, and as long as it serves the purpose, then I think people will enjoy.
Yes, for many years this journey with DMA will continue, has been there and will continue. Good to see so many faces and namaste ma'am. आप हमारा भी एक पॉडकास्ट है द डिजिटल काउच और मैं उस पे होस्ट हूँ और मैं और मेरा कलीग शौरी बिफोर वी डू इट आई एंश्योर दैट आई गो थ्रू योर पॉडकास्ट we should and there is a separate platform for that too, by the way. I'm sure you would know this platform called Khabri. Yeah, so I ensure that I always go through one of your episodes, so I get some insights, and that's how we then copy paste नहीं करते, inspiration लेते हैं. On the panel, I have just met Zahid from HDFC Bank. Zahid would please, if you could just join me. Shankar from Bombay Stock Exchange, and I let them introduce themselves because that's the best way. Otherwise, we haven't known each other so well, so I could introduce them in any better way. Shweta, do we have Shweta? She couldn't. Okay, no problem. And then we have Archana. Okay, sure. My name is Vijayant, Dhaka. I work for a company called Value First. This out of those 114. Yeah, I'm just yes. Out of those 114 sessions, this would be what 70, 80 that I would be attending. So it's been a long journey. But over to Archana, so she could introduce herself. Then Shankar and Zahid, please.
I'll try speak. Oh, it works with the mask. Yeah. So hi everyone, my name is Archana Sinha. I lead marketing for Salesforce. I have been in the B2B enterprise marketing space for about 22 years. Before this, I was working with a French company called Dassault Systems, and I've been with Oracle, Microsoft, IBM. So all in all, software in my blood. I'm married to a naval officer. So you can see the mask. I have a little bit of the military in me. So I'm going to wear the mask if that's okay with everyone. I've been on some of the DMA panels, some of the awards. I've been jury as well. It's always an interesting experience to come here and meet everyone. I have 2 kids, I love to read, and I used to sketch, which I've lost, but trying to pick that back up. That's me.
Thank you, Archana. Shankar.
Thank you. I'm Shankar Jadhav. I work with the Bombay Stock Exchange. I joined Bombay Stock Exchange after being a CEO of an FMCG company as the head of marketing, and I continue to hold the post today. Of course, I do lots of things besides that, like managing the data center infrastructure or looking at the IT procurement or looking at the legal. But marketing is a passion, and that we can see in how the number of investors has grown over the time and how trust in our exchange has grown up. And that's where I stop. But my personal liking is to travel, meet people, read, and I enjoy being out. Sitting in office is something which is very difficult to do. And my boss also appreciates that, yes, we go out and do the marketing. Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar. Zahid.
Yeah, hi guys. So Zahid, I head digital and performance marketing for HDFC Bank. Love dancing and love talking. It's great, actually glad to be here in a physical event after years now. And I might have forgotten the etiquette. That's why drinking tea, at least wearing full pants. That's great. But yeah, look forward to a happy chat. Yeah.
Thank you, Zahid. Yeah, I think we'll keep the mics. Yeah, please have a seat first. I have my notes with me because I didn't want to miss out on the important things that we wanted to discuss in this panel. But this is a very simple format, a couple of things that we would love to know your perspective about. And why don't we start with you? The last 18 months or so have been very different for so many of us, personally, professionally, but we'll stick with the idea of what success means to you in your profession, and what are the certain things. For example, Deepali talked about her inspiration of getting onto a podcast, starting that series with the CEOs. What has been your mantra to be feeling successful in your profession?
Interesting. See, I love dancing. And there is a golden rule that we follow in dancing. We dance not to impress, but we dance to express. Okay. I think that is something that we follow at least I love to follow in my culture world. And that's success to me. We don't do any work to impress the bosses or to impress the peer group. At least that's what my team's DNA is. Okay. We love to express what we believe in our work. It might be a project, and obviously our thought process is oriented towards customer centricity and towards the success of the business values, right? So whatever we feel is a true project that will really help the goal and success of the customers, we believe in it and we go for it. Okay, starting from convincing stakeholders to budget approvals to ensuring amidst the huge organization that it is a part of today, convincing multiple stakeholders to get the project done, we ensure it's getting done within restricted timelines. So I think because we believe in ourselves and express in the thought, okay, and when that baby goes live, I think that the joy that it has is beyond anything else. That's success for us.
So does that also mean the way you look at things from digital marketing, let's say success mantra in terms of metrics or measuring the success, has that also changed in last 1 year or so, or the basics? We all know, I'm sure the basics would remain same, but have you started looking at things differently now as a marketer?
Work success is very different, and when you talk about measurement metrics, it's very different. Yes, it's obviously one step towards overall success. Okay, but yeah, coming to measurement granularity, we have changed a lot. Okay. People have been talking extensively about multi-funnel attribution, but I don't think how many people are actually doing it. Okay. We have started monitoring across top of the funnel matrix because we have realized more often than not that we have to really be on the top of the mind recall. Now, how do you translate that measurement of top of the mind recall? Even Deepali is trying to get a measurement of her podcast. Okay. So look at the importance of data. And more the data, more the convincing skills to get more budgets. So what we have started doing is, people used to do brand lift. What we do is we try to do something like purchase intent. Purchase intent across all platforms, across geographies. And then we map it with our back-end business. That the intent and the business are coinciding or not. Okay, and that is how we, at least at the top of the funnel matrix, where even if it's a brand campaign, we actually can justify the importance of a brand campaign with end business. Brand lift survey and all those things keep on happening. That's okay. That's at the top of the funnel. We have introduced a very important thing called mid-funnel. Okay. Where generally in mid-funnel, people used to talk about engagement, right?
Yeah.
Now that is to define time spent and all those things. But what we have done is, we have started creating a whole pool of people who are engaging with us. What is the difference of their behavior in terms of end performance of that set vis-a-vis just a campaign which is meant for only bottom funnel? Okay, and we are seeing that actually the mid-funnel the entire pool, be it whatever size and shape, be it a cookie, be it ad IDs, they actually do a much better in terms of response than just a plain vanilla campaign of bottom funnel. Okay, and the bottom funnel attribution is, so we have very clearly articulated and defined top, mid and bottom, and we have our measurement metrics accordingly.
Nice. I'm sure, and I sincerely hope. Shweta, hi. Hi, Shweta.
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I think.
Please continue. I don't want to disrupt the flow. I will introduce you.
That's okay.
Hi, I'm Shweta Iyer. I am the SVP marketing for a D2C brand called Super Bottoms. We make sustainable clothes for moms and babies.
Thank you and welcome to the panel. Shankar, from your perspective, you are the MD for BSE Investments. How do you look at, what is your way of or perception of looking at being successful, or what is the feeling of being successful in your professional career? We would definitely love to know from your point of view.
See, for Bombay Stock Exchange, the success can be measured in very simple terms. We can see that in the last, say from June 2008 till May 20, we had around 5 crore investors that came. But in last 1.5 years, we've got more than 4 crores. So we just crossed 9 crore investors. That shows that the trust in our brand is growing. That's one measure of success. Second is, our customers don't only include investors like many other people feel. We also have companies that want to list as our customers.
Right.
The broker members and the government and many other institutions. So even the listed companies, we are one of the largest exchanges in the world, the largest entities listed. So the next one comes to very low. And that's because we've got a 150-year-old history. So despite all that is in the past, BSE today is considered to be the most trusted institutions in the country as well as the world. And we also feel that BSE gives out warmth. Anyone who visits BSE, normally people do call in India it's a temple of wealth, but anyone who visits, they feel warm. And this is the kind of feeling we wanted people to know, yes, you are here and we are a trusted brand. That's what one of the things. And why I'm talking of digital is, even during the Corona times, we are doing approximately 6,000 or more programs every year to educate investors. And this kind of work is not done by any other brand as much as we do. That gives the consistency. We use the digital media, we use the digitalization of the whole network for everything, including getting to our customers and listening to them. We look at their complaints, we publish every time how many complaints we've got and how many we've resolved. This kind of things build trust. In fact, many of you will be surprised to know, though some of you may know, Bombay Stock Exchange building is the largest shown building or most times shown building from India. It's not the Taj Mahal or anything, it's BSE. And BSE Sensex is also one of the indices known all across the world because we are the second oldest exchange in Asia. So this kind of branding really helps. And that success also goes on to my whole team, not only the people who market, but I believe everyone who works in operations also is market.
Would be not sure what all can you share here, but yes, we would still, whatever you are comfortable with, we would love to hear the roadmap that you may have for the investors for next, let's say, 1 or 2 years or 5 years, right? Engaging them digitally and starting those conversations. What roadmap and how prepared are you? And how much are you going to enjoy this transformation or the surge in the customer behavior or let's say engagement or conversion into the active investors? So what is your roadmap? What is your outlook?
You see our marketing outlook, the way we do the ads or the marketing. You'll see we tell people to be cautious when they are overexcited. And when they are underexcited or rather feeling grim, we tell them that's the right time to invest. And we've seen that people who stay long actually bear the fruits of the investments. Anything that is done in haste need not necessarily bear fruits that you require. These are the things that we tell. And our customers have come to realize that we are not in it, that we increase our sales. Like for instance, any other normal organizations, when they do marketing, the whole purpose is return on ad spend or return on investments. Our purpose is not there. We don't get much money if there are more investors. It's their own money and they get it. So we are there just as a platform. And you'll see one of the greatest things that we have done is, though technology has problems, you'll see that the exchange has not failed the investors. There are many other financial institutions where you will have a problem. For instance, the bank may not have an app working properly or something goes wrong. In the last 10 years I am at BSE, I think there's only one incident I remember. Otherwise, there's no incident, especially in the last years or decade, that we remember. So the investors have lots of trust. In fact, when Corona started, we appealed to the finance ministry and the government that the financial institutions should run. Otherwise, people will be worried about money and they cannot live. So from the day it started, we did that. And almost everyone knows that their money is safe and it's good. That is the kind of trust level that we have. And I think it's a great achievement for us.
Good to hear that, and good luck for the journey ahead. Now coming to Archana, you work for Salesforce. Why don't you share your feeling of being successful in your professional career? What gives you that kick, let's say? I mean, What's your thought?
I think if I speak about as a company or as a team, what is our measure of success? I think there are two very important things. One is, to me, is innovation. So how much can you innovate? How many new things can you do? How much can you learn from it? How do you fail fast, learn, move on, do more? Okay. So to me, that is, I think, number one. The second thing is, how well are we listening to our customers? How close are we to our customers? In all our marketing campaigns, I would say 95% of our marketing campaigns feature our trailblazers, and we refer to our customers as our trailblazers. How much can we bring them to the forefront? They are our heroes, really. And so building stories around them, being able to tell those stories, being able to drive inspiration from that, and spread that inspiration, that's really what success to me is from a marketing perspective. I don't want to talk about numbers, because the numbers come if you're doing the right things. That's really from a company or an organization or a team perspective, that's what success looks like. Personally, to me, I'm a Gemini. I love change, I love versatility, but I'm also an introvert. So how do you actually balance both sides of the coin? So personally, for me, it's about, again, how much of the mundane are you really doing, which is actually is feeding your run of business, and how many of those stellar, interesting, out of the box, quirky campaigns can you really run? So that's really personally what is interesting to me. How much opportunity do we give our teams to have fun while doing something new? How can you bring them up? How much learning can you do as a team? That's really what success is to me.
Talking about the actual effectiveness of marketing communication for a brand in general, right? Would you have a view about conversational commerce in future or near future? Is there any take you would like to?
So I think conversational commerce is going to come up in a big way. There is no denying that. I think we have all experienced leaving shopping carts unattended on various sites, and how fast they get to you. They talk to you, whether they're reaching out on the phone, whether it's WhatsApp, different mechanisms. Sometimes even on LinkedIn, there are in-mails that come. There's so many channels to reach customers. But I think the reason I think conversational commerce is here to stay is because the more that a brand gives an omni-channel experience to the customer, the more personalized that communication is. And you will notice today there are a lot of small brands actually doing that. It's not just the big brands. There are a lot of small brands which are actually reaching out. They address the customer, they know the customer, they know what the customer is looking for, and they're able to really spin a story for that customer which gets him or her hooked and interested in the brand. And for small brands, I think it's a huge opportunity to use conversational commerce in a big way. And I think retail, of course, is a no-brainer. Conversational commerce would really work well. But there are so many other brands. There's banks. I don't know how many banks are using conversational commerce today. But
I should ask Zahid that question later. Yeah.
But I think that's a huge opportunity. Also, in the pandemic, there are so many things that we are doing online today, right? Lots of different types of brands, insurance. There's so much opportunity there for conversational commerce. So I think it is definitely here to stay. It's a technology which is new. I think so. It's not something that people are using in a very prevalent way, but it's definitely here to stay. It's a big trend, I think, to watch and to test. I think testing waters with new technology is extremely important. And as somebody who likes to innovate, who likes to try new things, it's definitely something to be done and to watch. Yeah.
Sure. And I think we should, the same question, Shweta, for you. In your business, how do you look at conversational commerce today, the current state and future state?
Yeah, for us, being a D2C brand, conversational commerce is much wider. Actually, not just within the realm of D2C, but I think for any business, conversational commerce is, a very broad term. It could mean customer support via WhatsApp, SMS.
Yeah.
It could even mean somebody tagging the CEO on LinkedIn or Twitter. It happens all the time. Anand Mahindra regularly gets tagged on Twitter. Mr. Harit Nagpal regularly gets queries on LinkedIn saying, hey, you know what, my box is not working. Even something as basic as that, people tagging CEOs could be a potential for conversational commerce, right? It happens on LinkedIn, it happens on Twitter. My earlier organization, Tarun Katyal, used to get tagged for a subscription renewal. Imagine people tagging an Anand Mahindra, Harit Nagpal or Tarun Katyal for basic customer support. So I think it is prevalent, it's only going to get bigger in newer and personal ways. The way conversational commerce can become very relevant is when we try and make it more and more personal. It could be infusing an element of in conversational commerce. When you know that somebody is asking you something belongs to a particular state, then can I be intuitive as a marketing technologist and offer vernacular support? Right. Can I have bots that don't talk like bots? Can I do something on Twitter? Can I do something on WhatsApp than just broadcasting messages? So conversational commerce, any kind of conversation, anything that we do, even on an Alexa or Google Home, as long as it's personal, as long as it's segmented, and as long as it serves the purpose, then I think people will enjoy that interaction because it's a touch point at the end of the day. It's any touch point. I go to a retail store, I ask a salesperson, hey, do you have it in this size? I should be able to do the same thing on WhatsApp or with a bot. So as long as it's personal, it answers my queries without too much time. And what can get really annoying here is when, it takes me on a wild goose chase. So as long as we don't get into that and keep it as personal as possible, as pithy as possible, and as relevant, then of course conversational commerce is the next big thing. It already is. Right. And I think it's just set to grow in newer and personal ways.
Can I just make a comment here?
Yes.
I remember more than 20 years back when I was in Reliance and we started the phones first. I used to go in front of crowds of thousands and would tell them that we'll have a phone which will give you video and you can talk to each other on video and all. People used to laugh at me. My family itself used to laugh at me saying, what are you thinking of? And when I tell now people that if I want to give a flower to my girlfriend or a boyfriend, I can send it through phone. People don't believe me now. And I can tell you we'll be in virtual reality soon. Today we are trying to capture your brain in such a manner that people forget everything. What she's talking about, natural language processing, even that we have tried. In fact, we had a chatbot. I remember a pilot that was done, not by BSc but someone, where the lady was talking and people would ask her a question besides finance, whether she's married and she's so nice and etc. etc. These kind of things will happen. You will see that the finance sector, which I come from especially, is quite boring, they say. But it will change overnight. And like she mentioned, some people like in different languages, but we've noticed that for financial work, people want in English. If you speak English, you wear a tie, they will trust you more than if you are otherwise. So these kind of differences will be there. When you're selling clothes, yes, they would like someone who speaks in my language and understands my thing. We also seen that ladies' clothes are sold better by men, even on chats, than women. So those kind of things are always there. That's what we've noticed in our
Yes, and that's a wonderful insight. So anything from you, Zahid, on the use case at HDFC?
Yeah, I think we are trying to capture the ethos of conversational commerce. The typical salesperson will try to convert a hesitant browser to a happy buyer, right? In today's digital world, there is enough distraction in the whole content piece of it. In a conversational, it's very stitched, tightly knitted. Personalization will be an element icing on the cake. We have seen 100%. We don't have conversational commerce because the end journey will need a lot of documentation, unfortunately, banking. But yes, we are trying to convert a lot of the services, customer services and journeys into conversational mode. The backend is the heart. And then the dissemination can be across, be it a messenger or WhatsApp. WhatsApp is coming up big time. And what you've seen is like the biggies, like Google, the WhatsApp, the Facebook, they influence your behavior with WhatsApp chat and voice coming in significantly. A lot of these guys are using the entire WhatsApp for business as entire conversational commerce. That's already there and people are going live with it. So I think that's the way ahead. We are seeing 100% growth year on year in terms of people adapting to it. I think that's the way ahead.
Great. Thanks, Zahid. And coming back to Shweta, that's how the discussion on this panel started. Why don't you share one passion of yours which actually helps you in your professional journey or your professional role? Any one passion that you take it?
Yeah, I'm a trained classical dancer, and I think classical dance or any kind of performance basically teaches you to bring various aspects together to an end. So I think in terms of dance, that's what it's taught me. Group dance especially, to appreciate strengths, make up for the weaknesses, put your best foot forward, and then basically carry the entire performance along. Every single thing that we do every day, if you look at it as a performance, you then take the entire team together and put up something fantastic. So I think it's about teamwork, collaboration, making up for each other, covering up mistakes, make sure that the audience doesn't see it, only that something has gone wrong. So those are things that any performing art can teach you.
I agree. I definitely agree. What about you, Archana?
Thank you. Number of things, I think.
One remarkable or
just-
very prominent
I think for me it is
reading. Yeah.
because I think that has really helped me stay on top of things, be aware. It's something that has really helped me to go deep into things. I think the insight, the
do you
thinking.
read with a lot of attention? Like, do you take
I'm a
notes?
scanner.
Okay.
So I'm a scanner. I read very fast, but because I do that, I can read a lot of books at the same time, maybe multiple books together. But that's I think as a child I developed that habit because I was a voracious reader, and I would go to all the libraries that I possibly could and get as many fiction books that I could, and I would read them together. So it started with fiction, and then
So you're
went
reading multiple books at the same
multiple
time.
books at the same time. So it's
Very nice.
today it's the same thing with Kindle and physical books, but that's really helped me develop that thing about maybe developing insights and understanding things which are new. And I think that's really also helped to fuel the whole innovation thing that I talked about. So that's, I think if I had to pick one thing, I think that's what it is.
Great. Good to know that, and thanks for that. So Shankar,
I do love research. In fact, I've been head of research for BSc also for some time and earlier also. And my research today involves AI and the biases in AI and how it works around the world. Like for instance, when you do something like Facebook, what happens? Why are most women, like we see the number of women who have Facebook accounts which are private versus the number of men who have private accounts. You'll see the difference. So there are lots of such issues that we see, and that's what I'm studying. And of course, I like being a techie myself. Cybersecurity, AI is some of those things that we look. And like her, I read quite a lot. Though I don't scan, I do research and I type.
Yeah.
I many times gives my views and criticism. But today's world, as most marketers will know, no one likes something negative to be said in public.